Yes. Okay. So once again, hello everyone. How are you all? Nice. Okay. So today we are going to learn how to code like a pro. And for that, we require object-oriented programming. Okay. Which takes up very less time and gives us very fruitful results. So shall we begin? Okay. I'm sharing my screen for the process. Please raise your hand if you see it's visible. Okay. So is my screen up? So today we are going to learn the concept of OOP, which stands for Object-Oriented Programming. Don't worry about the big name. Actually, it's a very simple thing. Just like you have you people played Lego blocks? It's just like that. Okay. So what is OOP? Okay. What exactly is OOP? In normal coding, we just write lines of instructions. Okay. It's a very tedious task, and it also takes very much time for the computer to process those instructions and gives us results. Okay. So therefore, the concept of OOP came, okay, which reduced the processing time of the computer and the complexity of the user or the coder as well. Okay. So OOP is concerned with basically two things. What are those? Objects and classes. Okay. Classes are the collection of objects, and object is a part of class. Okay. So every single object in the world has two things. What are those two things? Properties and actions. Properties means the things which are already contained in that particular object. For example, data. If you take up the example of a real life of the coding part, not the real life example of the coding part, we can say that properties means data and actions means the methods or the task, okay, which the computer has to perform, right? For example, we can take up the real life example of a dog, okay? It has properties like name, color, breed, etc. And it has actions of hey, barking, wagging its tail, eating, right? They are the methods, and this is the property of color, name, breed, and actions or the methods of barking, wagging its tail, and eating. Okay. Now moving over to the next slide, we have a more real life example of objects, that is of a car. Okay. So a car has properties like name, branding. Okay, name means brand. Okay, that for example, it belongs to Tesla, it belongs to Tata, it belongs to Kia. Okay, these are the brands, some of the listed brands, notable brands of the car. Or color, for example, it's a red color, black, white, whatever. Okay, doesn't depends. It depends on the user's choices. Okay, what the car you like. Then we have the speed characteristic of the properties. Okay, what's the speed? What's the mileage? Great. What are the actions that a car performs? It can start, it can stop, it can move. Okay, these are the actions or the methods that are contained in the object of car. Okay, now we move over to the next slide, that is class and objects. Okay, अब objects पढ़ लिए तो class पे आते हैं. Okay, so what to say? There are two magical words. Class and objects are two magical words in the concept of OOP. Think of a class as a blueprint, okay, that is drawn on a paper. For example, we have purchased a, for example, let's say we have purchased a certain plot, okay. Now we want to have a farmhouse on that particular, on that particular land that we have purchased, okay. So we design or give it to architect to design, whatever, it depends. Suppose we only design, okay. So the blueprint or design that we give to the architect, our farmhouse will contain 2 floors or 3 floors. On the first floor, we'll have a jacuzzi. On the second floor, we have a party house. Okay, these are the things that we draw and give to the architect. And in return, the architect that gives us the fully built, fully constructed farmhouse to us. That's the example of an object. That's the real house that we can touch, that we can live in, that we can feel. But can we feel or can we live in or can we touch the class or the blueprint? No, we can't. Okay, this is the difference. Understanding? Okay. For example, we can also take up a group of students in a class as a class. Okay. And the objects can be the various boys and girls living inside the class. Okay, living inside that one roof. Okay. They can be considered as objects. Suppose our class contains Rahul, Priya, Megha. So Rahul, Priya, Megha, etc., are the objects. And class 10A is a class. Understanding? समझ आ रही है आप लोग को? अब नेक्स्ट स्लाइड पे चलते हैं. दैट्स द पैराडाइम्स ऑफ ओओपी. ओके, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग के पैराडाइम्स हैं. ठीक है, प्रोसीजर्स हैं. ठीक है, कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं. ठीक है, जिनको ओओपी यूज करता है. ठीक है, और पहला कॉन्सेप्ट इसमें है द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ एनकैप्सुलेशन. ओके, एनकैप्सुलेशन मतलब एनकैप्सुलेशन में क्या वर्ड आता है बीच में? देखिए, कैप्सूल. कैप्सूल मतलब एक एक सर्टेन कैप्सूल. कैप्सूल मतलब दवाई की गोली समझ लीजिए. ठीक है, उस दवाई की गोली में बहुत सारे इंग्रेडिएंट्स होते हैं. ठीक है, जिनका अलग अलग काम होता है. सपोज यू आर टेकिंग अप फॉर वेट लॉस. सपोज यू आर टेकिंग अप. ओके, वन friendly reminder: never take any capsules for weight loss. Okay, only good health and proper exercise can contribute to your weight loss. But for example, let's say you are taking a tablet for your weight loss. So the potassium that's contained will helps in reducing, increasing the blood flow. The magnesium will increase the metabolism. This is just an example. Okay, I don't exactly remember the biological terms, but I'm just telling. Okay, so various components have various functions, and they all are contained in the one capsule. Okay, we can also take up the example of a school bag. Okay, so your school bag contains what? Tiffin box, water bottle, pencil box, various books and copies. Suppose you have 8 subjects in a day. You have, right? 8 subjects in a day. Because when we were in school, we used to have 8 subjects, right? So the 8 subjects, books and copies, okay, they all are contained in the one school bag. Okay. This is the best example of encapsulation, we can say. Any more examples you people have, you can type in the comment section. Okay, and let me know. And so, what we can understand by the concept of encapsulation, it means packing up all our data and methods together in one safe box. So nobody can mess with it and nobody can misuse it, nobody can wrongly utilize it. Okay. Moving over to the next concept or paradigm of OP, we have the concept of abstraction, data abstraction or data hiding. Okay. When you want to play a video game or watching TV, you pick up the remote control, okay, and press the power button. Do you need to know how the microchips and microwires control the proper functioning? No, right? You just press the button and it starts, whether TV or your laptop or video game, anything. Okay. You don't bother how it works or what is the internal functioning, right? Do you bother? No. So what do you mean by abstraction? एब्स्ट्रैक्शन मतलब छिपाना. किससे? एंड यूजर्स से. ठीक है, abstraction means hiding the confusing, boring background details and only showing the fun, useful parts. Okay, that we are concerned with. For example, in TV, we are only concerned with changing the channels, increasing or decreasing the volume. Okay, or zooming for a better view nowadays. Right. In our days, we were also not concerned with zooming part, but nowadays. Okay. Going over to the next concept of OP, that is of inheritance. Inherit करते हैं. किससे? बच्चे अपने माँ बाप, अपने पेरेंट्स से inherit करते हैं उनकी qualities, right? Suppose when you visit a newborn baby in a hospital or a newborn baby comes to your home, the daddy nannies of your house say, "Arey, the following characteristic has been taken up from the mother, the following characteristic has been taken up from the father," right? They both argue, right? You know, the eyes are just like my son, the nose is just like my daughter, right? So the third pillar is inheritance. Think about your parents. You might have your mom's eyes or your dad's smile. You inherit features from them. So in coding, it's just the same. Okay. If you have a basic car code, you don't need to rewrite everything to make a sports car. The sports car just inherits all the features of a normal car and adds its own cool stuff like a super fast turbo engine, etc. But the basic functioning it all inherits from the parent class, that is of car class. Okay, inherits, reuses. Okay, it doesn't need to write in its own. Does what it saves? It saves time, it saves space. Okay, these are the two things that it saves. What? By using the concept of inheritance, which is the characteristics of OOP. What do we mean by OOP? Object-oriented programming. Which one is more advantageous, POP or OOP? It's OOP, that is object-oriented programming. Say once again, object-oriented programming. Okay, coming over to the slide eight, that is, we have polymorphism. Okay, that's the final pillar of of object-oriented programming. Sorry. Okay, polymorphism. Poly, mono means single, poly means many. Poly means too much. Okay, many forms. Now think about animals. All animals have the action to speak. But if I tell a dog to speak, will it say hello, ma'am, hello, yes, sir? Will it say like that? No. What it says woof. Okay, if I say a cat to speak, what will it say? It say meow. Okay, the action name is exactly the same, speak. But different animals do it in their own unique way. Okay, right? So this is the example of polymorphism. We have two types of polymorphism, compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Okay. Compile time may we have method overloading and runtime may we have method overriding. Okay. Anyway, this is we'll study later. Okay. Basic concept may it doesn't count. Okay, basic concept may just understand what is polymorphism, what's the real life example. Okay. Coming over to the next slides, we have advantages of OOP. Why do we use OOP? Why not procedures? Okay, why not we follow the old school methods of POP? Why do we prefer OOP over POP? Okay, so these are one of the features. These are features, some of the features. The first one is, sorry, it's easy to understand. We can reuse the code with the help of inheritance. Okay, it's easy to fix, it's secure, and it saves time. Now, these are some of the questions that I want all the answers in the comment section. Okay. Thank you very much. Meet you in the next class.